Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to Sacred Narratives. We are hosting you as part of our episode 3. And it's a huge privilege for us, and we are very much humbled to host you here today. Sundar Gopal Prabhuji is the founding member of ISKM as an institute, as an organization. And he's been into this Krishna consciousness since 1975, being a super senior, right, mentor for the spiritual journey. And today, hosting you, I really feel like a huge blessing for us, Prabhuji. And you have been, root cause for today's ISKM that existing across the globe from China, Philippines, Russia, USA, and now in Pondicherry. Thank you so much for humbly thanking you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much for your generous, I would say, glorification of our society and giving us an opportunity to be in your wonderful podcast. Thank you again.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So quickly, I have like few questions, very important questions. So let's begin from basics. What do you think about ISKM that has come from your idea basically, and of course, being a great follower of Prabhupada, and you have initiated this. And what do you think? How do you think this as a unique and how unique basically Krishna consciousness in itself from other practices?
See, the International Srikrishna Mandir, primarily the main objective is to spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. So, what is Krishna consciousness? Means to bring Krishna back into everybody's life. People are actually suffering because they have no knowledge about God. And that is the real thing, you see. And you can see everyone is laboring for peace. Just to show you very quickly, this is a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. So in this verse, this is the Sanskrit. This is a very old book. It's actually the Bible of the Hindus. So here Krishna is speaking. This is spoken by Krishna. One who is not in transcendental consciousness can have neither a controlled mind nor a steady intelligence, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? So this is actually the problem. We all are trying to become peaceful. And in other words, we want to have the kingdom of God without God. And that's practically is why we are all suffering. So if we can teach this to everybody and make everybody happy, then they are going to be very, very grateful. Not only that, they will also, everybody is going to die, and that's part and parcel of this material body. So after that, what is the next situation? That nobody knows. So the next situation is that if you are not God conscious or Krishna conscious, then you have to take again another birth. And it not necessarily be human birth. It can be in the species of fish, trees, insects, animals, birds, and human or demigods. So like that, there are 8.4 million kind of species. So if we are not careful, then again we have to go back, and this is not very nice, because birth, death, and old age disease is very, very painful. Nobody likes to die. You understand? So the human form of life is different from the other species because in the human form only we can inquire about God. Because this eating, mating, sleeping, defending is common. Every living entity does eat, mate, sleep. So there's no difference. But the only difference is that human being, they can inquire about God. Dharma mina, pasubir saman. So if you don't have dharma, then you are no better than an animal. So if we live like an animal, then our suffering is going to be intense. So the whole idea of this Krishna consciousness movement is to educate people how to relieve them from this miserable condition of life. And that is means to reconnect ourselves to God. Only then we can be happy. Otherwise we cannot. Just now I showed you the verse, yes?
Yes.
How can there be any happiness if one is not connected to Krishna? That's not possible.
So,
Yes.
Prabhuji, as we talk on the note of being happiness, peace, this is centuries together what entire Krishna consciousness is all about, deeply rooted in the idea of peace, deeply rooted in the idea of living happily. And we have been taught all this. But on the ground reality, there is this one issue, the recent issue that you would have definitely noticed is people who are speaking in the name of Krishna, who are spreading peace in the name of Krishna, spreading happiness in the name of Krishna, are being attacked brutally. The recent Bangladesh issue that I am addressing. So, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what do you feel about it?
So in this iron age of quarrel in Kali Yuga, now we are living in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, everything becomes topsy-turvy. In Kali Yuga, there's an ocean of faults. I'll show you another verse. So in this verse, Kale dosha nidhe rajan. So in this age, my dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there's still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the kingdom of God. So as we have discussing, you know, that this age, it's full of a lot of what we say bad qualities. And the bad quality means that there will be unnecessary disturbance from everybody. There are three kinds of problem. One problem caused by our mind, one problem caused by other people's mind, another problem is caused by the devatas by giving too much calamities like cyclone, earthquakes, and all these other calamities. So, being in this situation, although we are chanting, but we all are in the burning house.
Hmm,
So, when you are in a burning house, it doesn't matter whether you are chanting or not chanting, the house is burning, you will have the effect.
hmm,
So, okay, we have been targeted in Bangladesh, and I mean, not only Bangladesh, everywhere, because, people who are demonic, that means who have this anti God kind of consciousness, they are always targeting people who are God consciousness. That is their so called inherent habit, to attack the devotees.
how do you think we could respond from? How do you think ISKCON could have responded? So, what they have said is like they have expelled them way before this incident has happened.
I didn't
Is there any
understand.
good response? What ISKCON in Bangladesh says is they have expelled the people, the devotees who have indulged in certain activities, like they have disrespecting Bangladesh flag and all.
In any country, there must be law and order.
Hmm, yeah.
That's why they are Brahmanas and then they are Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas are called administrators and their job is to rule the country according to dharmic principles. This is why Mahabharata was fought because the other party, Kauravas, they were not ruling according to God conscious. So that's why this war was created to put in Yudhishthira as a king because he was 100% Krishna conscious. So
Hmm,
you need Kshatriyas to help safeguard this dharma. The Brahmana community, their job is to study scriptures and teach scriptures, help people to do puja and the same time to do puja. So they don't have the capability of defending themselves. So that's
hmm,
why in the system there is Brahmana class, there's Kshatriya class, there's Vaishya class, and there's Sudra class. This is called the Varnashram. So the Brahmanas are supposed to be God conscious and help others to become God conscious. The Kshatriyas, they are the ruling class, the administrators, they are supposed to protect this religious class. And then you have the Vaishyas who are producing this, food, agriculture, cow protection. That is their job. And finally, you have the Sudras who cannot do all this but help. They are giving labor. So, in this way, with the Brahminical order worshipping Krishna and others are all protecting and helping each other. So, in this way, everybody gets the benefits. So, what has happened in Kali Yuga is that everyone is born as Sudras. So,
hmm,
by the help of a pure devotee, like in our case, Srila Prabhupada, uh, people are becoming God conscious. So, being God conscious, naturally, we don't have the protecting power. So, we are relying on the government for that, the police force, and all this, security measures. But if they fail, then where we can turn to? If the ruling power itself is attacking, then what to do?
How do you see the safety of devotees on this kind of a situation? How do you see the safety of devotees in this situation, Prabhuji?
What is that again?
How do you see the safety of the devotees in
I
this kind
mean,
of a situation?
the safety is unless they get some kind of a help, from other sources, because they are ruled by fanaticism. So with fanatics, it's difficult to reason out. So the best option I see is to protect oneself is to leave the place. There's no other recourse because you are staying there all alone with your family and all. So how are you going to get protection if they come in the middle of the night, which is what they're doing all the time? How are you going to protect yourself? So you're in a very precarious position. So
True.
safety is very important, especially looking after your dear ones.
Hmm.
That's prime consideration. So I don't see any other recourse than to go to a place where they can get that protection. And of course, the Indian government has opened its doors for Hindus in not only in Bangladesh, also in Pakistan and Afghanistan and whichever area around here, they're giving them an open door policy that they can come and they can resettle. So that is something that the others can look into it.
Hmm. Very much.
So
Very
that's
much.
the option. But if they stay together and they have a system where they're protecting each other in that village, which some are doing, then of course that is also a viable option. But it is not a very favorable position because when your life is threatened and nobody can sleep peacefully.
Very much.
This is not a lightweight situation. It is a serious matter.
Correct. So as we talk about the Kali Yuga issues being all being everything being negative here in Kali Yuga. So the end of Kali Yuga, there are a lot of interpretations about Kalki Avatar. So other nine avatars are being done now, and we have proper text telling us, proper gurus guiding us. So could you please tell something about Kalki Avatar? Like, what is your interpretation about that?
Kalki Avatar will come in another 247,000 years from now.
Hmm.
Quite a long time.
Yeah.
Now in Kali Yuga, there's that 10,000 period, which is about after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, and Krishna came 500 years ago as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Mhm.
And that in this 10,000 period from then, it's called the golden period. So in this golden period, you can do worship, you can chant the name of God, you can do something about after 10,000 years, or to be more precise, 9,500 years from now, everything will become very bad. It will become disastrously so bad that there will be no God consciousness. When there's no God consciousness, and the description are described in Kali Yuga, what will happen? People's life will be reduced to 50 years old the more. People will not be worshipping God. They will be living like animals. Money is the only matter. There will be no justice. Whoever got money will have justice. And
Hmm.
whoever can speak very nicely, he will become the big leader with no qualities, no qualification.
Hmm.
So all these are described in this book that I just showed you, Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hmm.
So you see how, like I show you one verse again from the Bhagavatam.
Yes, yes.
This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So you can see here in this verse, this is spoken by Sukadev Goswami some 5,000 years ago. Tata Shanudinam Dharma Satyam Sauchyam Chamadaya Kalena, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength and memory, will all diminish day by day because of the powerful influence of age of Kali. You see, this is the result of Kali Yuga. All these things will degrade. And plus, in Kali Yuga, the people will be more interested in these three things only. One, women. Two,
Hmm.
intoxication. And three, they will be excessively proud.
Hmm.
So when they are attracted to only these three things, then all bad qualities will develop. There will be no God consciousness, no good qualities. So when a person goes into that direction and develop all these bad qualities, then the resultant action is going to hell. You see, I show you again. So in this verse, you can see this is symptom what happens if a person does not take to Krishna consciousness. If a human being is engaged in sinful, irreligious activity, either because of bad association or because of his failure to control his senses, then such a person will certainly develop a personality full of material desires. He thus becomes miserly towards others, greedy, and always anxious to exploit the bodies of women. See, this is the point I'm just saying. When the mind is so polluted, one becomes violent and aggressive, and without the authority of Vedic injunction, slaughters innocent animals for sense gratification. So meat eating is very prominent. And then what? Worshipping ghosts and spirits. This bewildered person falls fully into the grip of unauthorized activities and thus goes to hell. When he receives a material body infected by the darkest mode of nature, in such a degraded body, unfortunately, continues to perform inauspicious activity that greatly increases future unhappiness, and therefore he again accepts a similar material body. What possible happiness can there be for one who engages in activities inevitably terminating in death? So can you imagine, this is the kind of a thing he goes. Yeah, he goes to hell. So this is serious business. It's not very nice going to hell, is it?
Yeah.
So it's dangerous. And you go to hell, it doesn't mean that you come back again and you become a human being. No. If you go to hell,
Soul is forever there.
come back here and you start from the lowest end. And the lowest end is described here. So you see here, there are 8.4 in this universe, the limitless living entity in 8.4 million species. And all are wandering within the universe. And this breakdown of the 8.4 million, this is from the Padma Vishnu Puranam. I see here. This is it's not some fairy tale. There are 900,000 fishes, 900 species living in the water, predominantly the fishes. And then there are 2 million or 20 lakhs, as you all say, of non-moving living entities like the sthavara, such trees and plants. And there are about 11 lakhs species
Hmm.
that are what? Insects and reptiles. And then there are 10 lakhs species of birds. And as far as quadrupeds are concerned, there are 30 lakhs four-legged animal. And there are only 400,000 human species. So when you go to hell, when you come back, you have to start from the lowest end. That means you start again as if, living in the water, fish. And you have to climb slowly, slowly. After 900,000, you go to again to trees. After 2 million trees, then you go to 1.1 million kind of insects and reptile. And then you go to 1 million kind of bird species. And finally, the animals, and then you come to human species. Can you imagine how long this is before you get again a human birth? Can you imagine?
Huge. Huge.
And look, it is not fun. That's why people don't understand this knowledge. This knowledge is there in the Gita.
Hmm.
So if you don't read and know this knowledge, then you are ignorant. And ignorant is not bliss. Suppose I make some offense and then I'm caught by the police and I go to the judge and I plead innocent, I don't know. The judge said, no, there's no excuse. Just like a child, if he puts his hand on the fire, it doesn't mean the fire will say, you are a child, okay, no problem, we will excuse you. There's no excuse. Correct?
Correct, correct,
So therefore, as being a human being, we have to know these things. This is an important point to understand in our human life. That's why many
correct.
people, they are not understanding this. They're chasing after material dreams. And that will be all finished after the death of the body. What is the use of being a, let's say, a prime minister this life? And next life you become a dog. Is that any good?
Definitely not.
That's foolishness. That's foolishness. You
Mhm.
understand? So therefore, we should not waste our human life like this. We should become very serious about how to develop our love for God. And that you can do simply by chanting. You see, our whole movement is propagating the chanting of this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And that is very easily done. If you can do that, then you save yourself from all these dangerous situations. A little endeavor, Krishna says, will save you from this greatest danger of falling down. What do you say?
Agree, Prabhuji, very much. So I have one follow-up question from like you were talking a lot about material conditions and we're talking about people getting a lot of diversions on of that note. And one of our followers have actually asked this question to you. So when mind wanders into negativity, how can I see Krishna? How to grow from within?
Yes, very good question. See, now because our senses are all contaminated, we are in a very contaminated condition, so it is not possible to see God who is very, very pure and spiritual. So, in order to come to that position, we have to purify ourselves. So, when we purify ourselves, then yes, we will be able to see God. So, how to purify ourselves? And this is possible by chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. If we chant this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Very good. You know the mantra.
Everybody does. Prabhuji, yeah,
So the mantra is here, just to introduce to the others. You can
please.
see here, sorry, see this mantra is here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ah, if you chant this mantra, very quickly you will purify yourself from this contamination. And not only that, you will save yourself from going to this hell and going to all these other species of life. You save yourself. You know, you get protected from Krishna. In fact, it says in this verse you can see it says, I equip with ropes to bind the sinful. You see, even in dreams, if you chant this Hare Krishna mantra, even in dreams, such surrendered soul do not see Yamaraj or his order carriers. You see how valuable this thing is by chanting Krishna's name. So
Yeah.
you see, it is in fact very, very important thing. If one who is embarrassed by hunger or falls down or stumbles, chant the holy name of the Lord even once, willingly or unwillingly, is immediately free from the reaction of his past deeds. Karmis entangled in material activities face many difficulties in the practice of mystic yoga and other endeavors to achieve that same freedom. You see how even just willingly or unwillingly you chant Hare Krishna, how much you get benefit.
Hmm.
So if you, there is a saving grace, although this world is so bad, but if you chant, then everything is put in proper perspective. So there
One proper, please.
is also a saving grace. So why don't we do this, rather than trying to do so many other things and getting all completely entangled and messed up and then frustrated, it all ends up in misery. Nobody is happy. Yes.
Material world is full of rat race.
And they don't know what to do, what not to do. And finally, they are jumping down and committing suicide.
Yeah,
They think this is the end of the road. Let me just die. And you die as suicide, you become ghost. and we become ghosts. It's very, very painful because you don't have a gross body. So you're how you want to enjoy. And you are put into a position where you will be eating only stool and urine. Understand? That's not very nice. And you have to stay in the body as long as you're supposed to stay in the other body. Suppose in the other body you're supposed to stay 100 years and you committed suicide at 50. Then 50 years you will be roaming around as a ghost. This is a nice thing to do.
Definitely no. Scary.
It's all in the Shastra. It's not my speculation. And there are ghosts also. It's not that you see, there's Krishna is saying about it. It is not some kind of a, wild thing or something like that. No, it is a fact. You can see here, Krishna says, he says, Yanti Deva Vrta Devan, Pitran Yanti Pitravataha, Bhutani Yanti Bhutejaha. This word, Bhutani means ghosts. Yanti Mam Yagino Pimam. See this word here? Bhuta Ijya. Is this the word you see? Worshippers of ghosts and spirit. So Krishna is also confirming this point that there are ghosts and spirits. Those who worship the devatas or demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. And those who worship ghosts and spirit will take
Hmm.
birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. So if you do all these kind of things, you're going to get into trouble. Why we should insane person will do these things. Everybody want to better himself. Who wants to downgrade himself? Nobody wants to. But
Nobody. Yes.
they just don't know. You understand? And this knowledge is all in our books. It is in our Vedas, our Shastra. And instead of reading here, finding this, they are going doing all other things. Correct?
Agree. Agree.
I think they are most unfortunate, having the most valuable jewel, they are throwing it away and going to look for some other kind of a garbage somewhere else. Simply insane. Yes?
Adding up to the library of knowledge we have, Prabhuji. So before we wrap up, so could you please talk something about one recent publication of yours?
Our recent publication is this book. This book is called, you can see this book, it's
Yes.
upside down.
Why worship only Krishna?
Why worship only Krishna? And this book, because to tell you honestly, I'm doing my tour, not only in
Hmm.
India, practically all over the world. And we find that this is the most important question in the minds of everybody. Because if you want to know, you want to love God, you must know who He is. And if you do not know who is God, then how you can do any love? Doesn't
Hmm.
make sense. So
Correct.
some people, especially many people here in India, they think that God means everyone is God. Whoever you like, he becomes your God. But that's not a fact.
Hmm.
Only God is on one person and many others. There are 33 million devatas.
Yeah.
So the devatas are subordinate to Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead. And that's what he spoke in the Bhagavad Gita. I am God. Everyone is my servant. So if you do know that Krishna is the supreme God, then yes, you can start loving him. And when you love him, then all your problems go away, especially the most important problem of not taking birth again. That's why Krishna says here again.
You end your life cycle.
Hmm? This is from the Gita. It's all these verses are from the Gita. Of course, some in a different book called the Bhagavatam, which is the last book written by Vedavyas. So you see here in this verse, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktvateham punar janma nahi te mameti sujuna. That's in Sanskrit. One who
Hmm.
knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activity does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in the material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So you see, if you know Krishna's birth and activities, then you don't come back again to this material world. In other words, if you know Krishna is God, then that's it. Your whole life becomes successful. So why not do that? And that's what Krishna is asking. God is asking all of us to come back to Him. But
That
we,
is the answer for all.
yeah, we don't. We have been, mostly we are all ignorant. We do not know who is God. We do not know how to love Him. And we are attached to so many unnecessary things which are all temporary. And this is how we are suffering. Not one life, life after life after life. And I don't think it's a very nice business because death is not fun, you know.
Correct.
Elevated demigods. At the time of death, severe, unbearable pain takes away the consciousness of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Don't you know about this pain? You see this? At the time of death,
Yes.
severe, unbearable pain takes away the consciousness of all living entities. You know how painful it is? Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's not that you die so nicely, he died peacefully. No such thing. And especially at the time of death, you see here, this is how one goes.
Every death has its own pain. Every death has its own pain.
Because if you are in this kind of situation, we are going from one birth to another birth, and this is how it works. At the time of death, according to the thinking, feeling, and willing of the mind, which is involved in fruitive activity, one receives a particular body. In other words, the body develops according to the activities of the mind. Changes of the body are due to the flickering of the mind, for otherwise the soul could remain in its original spiritual body. So this is how it is working because our mind, because our mind is going. So if I thinking at the time of death, if I'm thinking whatever I'm thinking about, then I will become, let's say I'm thinking of my dear wife. The next
Mm.
birth I have to come back again as a woman. Suppose I'm thinking of, say, my pet dog. The next life I become a dog.
So you mean the last minute thought is very important
Yes,
for a human life?
at whatever you think, that you attain without fail. Krishna is speaking about this. See here, Krishna says, whatever stage of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that stage will attain without fail. See how? So, if
Mm.
whatever stage you are thinking of at the time, the mind goes, then you're going to be in trouble. So, but if you are thinking of God, then yes, you go back to the kingdom of God. So,
Amazing, Prabhuji.
then it's not so easy to think of God, no? Correct. Unless you practice, it is
You need
possible.
a whole life of practice. You require a whole life of practice to remember God in that one last minute before death.
Yes. Unless you practice, how is it possible? That's why the chanting is so important because Kali Yuga, this chanting is the process in which you can easily attain this thinking of God, So why not do that, When you all want to see God, but seeing is not so important because I close my eyes, I can't see even my eyelids. Neither can I
Mm.
see very, very far. So suppose I'm sleeping, my eyes are all closed and I'm sleeping, and if somebody is coming to kill me, I cannot see. But if somebody is beside and hey, wake up, somebody is some danger, wake up, then you wake up because you are hearing.
Yeah.
The hearing is more important than the seeing,
Yes.
correct? So we should
Yes.
learn how to hear. That's why our Shastra are called Shruti, hearing. So when we hear properly, then we will be able to purify ourselves and then see God.
Yes.
You understand? Well, yeah, immediately you want to see with his contaminated senses. That's not possible. Yes, you can see. Krishna says also to Arjuna, you can see me as I am only by devotional service, In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking here. Just give me a minute.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Bhagavad Gita is in the 11th chapter, he is saying. So here you see, he says, my dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am. standing before you and thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into my mysteries of my understanding. So you have to learn how to do this undivided devotional service. And what is that undivided devotional service? That means this chanting of Hare Krishna. So when you chant this Hare Krishna mantra, then by devotion you will be able to see the Lord.
Chanting of Hare Krishna becomes a solution for everything.
Yes, in Kali Yuga, there is no other way actually. You see here again, another place. So you see here in this verse, it's explained, this is from another Naradya Purana, this verse here. Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatir anyataha. So it says in this verse, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, that means this Kali Yuga, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy name. There's no other way. So we have to do what God is advising us. Suppose I want
Hmm.
to get cured. I cannot go to the medical shop and just buy any medicine I want. No? I
Hmm.
have prescription. You buy only this medicine. Is it not?
Yes.
Therefore, in Kali Yuga, the prescribed method is to chant. And if you chant, then yes, you will get cured from your material disease inevitably. And if you try anything else, it will not work. It will not. Everybody is fond of meditation. But
Hmm.
first of all, you must know who to meditate on.
True.
Yeah. They don't know who to meditate on. Then how you can advance spiritually?
Hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
Yes. So this is the problem. The real problem is that there is lack of education. There's lack of education. Is it not?
So that is where ISKM comes into the picture.
Nobody knows. They do not know anything. And they are in the confused, disturbed stage of life. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing, Prabhuji. It was amazing, glorious 45 minutes of discussion with you. You have addressed a lot of things, multiple things that the present world is going through. And as matter of you said, can I take this way? The 220,000 years Kali Yuga will have to suffer this.
Yeah, but you can because you got a short life. No, everyone is about 100 years the most. In this short period of time, if you chant, then you don't have to come back here and suffer again. And that is what Krishna wants us to do. Chant
Yeah.
immediately and purify ourselves and then go back and don't have to come back again to this material world. Correct? The solution is that, although there's suffering, but the solution is that you chant and you follow and love Krishna, then Krishna says, I will take care of you. That's why, in fact, he declared also, no? You see here, he says here, so he says here, Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja Ham Tum Sarve Papibhyo Mokshiyashmi Masucha. He says here, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So, this is Krishna's declaration, no? Why not surrender to him and he will help us take care of all these things and we don't have to come back again to this material world.
Yes.
Prison house is for prisoners who break laws. So, but if you learn how to follow the laws, then you don't have to be in prison. There's no need. Yes?
There's no need. Yes.
So, why become a prisoner?
Hmm.
That's his intelligence. No, I don't want to do that. I will just surrender to Krishna and make my life successful.
Yes.
Not only you become successful, Krishna says also that if you become my devotee, then you also will bring back to God 21 generation. Your father, like that, 21 generation, all will go back. And your
Hmm.
children, 21 generation also all will go back. Just by you,
Hmm.
one person opening the mouth and saying, Hare Krishna. Just see how much Krishna is prepared to help you.
Hmm.
But
Very
if
much.
you
Yes.
go, then I had shown you what will happen. Go to hell, big trouble. I don't think this is intelligence, no.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this beautiful Gyan this evening. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for your presence and for too many things that you have addressed in very short time of just
Uh,
this one podcast.
That's the problem. Everybody is short of time.
Yes, problem of Kali Yuga, the material thing. Yes.
So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to
Thank
explain.
you so much, Prabhuji. I'm humbly thanking you, and I really feel that having this blissful conversation is all it takes, for me to be. Thank you so much.